Hello, my name's Michael Conneely, and this video is about the most important topic. What does it mean when you have your Ketu return? Ketu is the south node of the moon, and the Ketu return is when the nodes of the moon in the heavens return to the exact position they occupied when you were born. It's part 3 in the series, so do see the first 2 parts, which are about the interpretation procedures in astrology used to define your supremely important life purpose in this life based on the nodes of the moon. And the part 2 post is about the meaning of the present Ketu transit through the Vedic sign of Libra, which is so important to understand. But in this part 3 post, after some consideration, I decided to share personal events which were so unexpected, such unlikely coincidences, that gave me great insight and healing at this, my time of Ketu return. So basically, a person's Ketu return is when Ketu, the south node in the heavens, returns to the point that Ketu South Node was in the heavens at the moment he was born. It happens every 18.5 years. And what it does, it brings to the forefront of our consciousness the fate and destiny scripts we came in with to work at in this lifetime. And if we are off course for our fate and destiny direction and scripts, well, basically we can have tremendous life meltdowns. The default way of sorting out someone who's on the wrong life path. And of course, so many of us are going to be on the wrong life path because our parents brought us up to be who we were not meant to be, to have a life path we were not meant to be. Our teachers, our priests, our governments, etc. all brought us up to believe we were someone else. So basically, your life path in that sort of case has to melt down heavily. And it's full of your past life scripts, the ones you got wrong or incomplete in the last lifetime, the ones you were born to experience in this lifetime. But ideally, as we move through our life, we perhaps develop much better awareness of our past life scripts, much better awareness of who we are, and much better experience of our forward life path. And the Ketu return absolutely checks that out and sorts us out. So certainly when we're younger, and perhaps even forever in our life, we could be very unaware of the true nature of all this until we start to achieve some spiritual awareness of our scripts and of our karmic, egoic, defined personality that we start off our life with. So it can be so illuminating to look at what happened in the previous times you experienced your Ketu return, but note that each Ketu return is hopefully a ratchet upwards of more and more spiritual awareness. But anyway, always expect the unexpected. And it's my Ketu return now, and I really have experienced the unexpected, and it's all been so healing and positive, I'm so pleased to tell you. So you can get an astrology reading from me to find out about your sort of fate and destiny scripts in this life, and indeed the whole of your life, in your year ahead. Go to my Star Wheel Astrology website, go to my Love Star Dating website. But when you're having your Ketu return, you really do need to be so prepared, if that's possible, and so open to the unexpected, if you're really to identify your past life issues clearly. And an astrology reading can be so helpful at this time. And incidentally, my wife Maggie Pashley does wonderful past life related healings Past Life, Future Life is one of them on her MaggiePashley.com website. And Soul Realignment is a wonderful other one, also on her Maggie Pashley website. So now I'll just share with you the wonderful, unexpected things that came into my life at the time of my present Ketu return, the exact date of which was March the 13th last month. So I basically, as background, have Ketu in Libra, in the 4th house, which is mother issues, ancestry, and family past life issues. Ketu is conjunct my son. I only met my father once. Also, my mother was homeless when I was born, and I was put into one of the notorious Bon Secours convent orphanages. Incidentally, on the exact same day I entered my Ketu Dasha, my Ketu predictive period at the age of 4 weeks old. So now I'll tell you, hopefully as a helpful guide, these totally unexpected and wonderful insight and healing experiences I have had at this present time of my Ketu return. So the first of them is about bringing Chiron and Lilith into the interpretation structures of Vedic astrology, which beefs up the insight and interpretation of our Chiron scripts and our Lilith scripts in such a super needed way, and so very, very well, going far beyond the Western framework of interpretation. So Chiron is your existential wound, in the healing of which you can become the healer of others. And Lilith is what is crucially fated to be stuffed into your dark side, into your shadow in this life, including your very needed connection to your wild self. So I'll just give you one example. When you move Chiron and Lilith and the planets they aspect into the D2 Varga chart, the Varga charts are the divisional charts of Vedic astrology, each of which says something super wonderful about an area of our life. Well, the Vedic astrological analysis of the D2 Varga chart has a system whereby ancestral issues can be identified and, with modern post-psychological healing techniques can certainly be so well healed, and we do them online. And I got such key healing from this West-East astrology-based realization. So basically, it emerged that my Chiron and Mars and my Lilith and Venus, all 4 of them, were separate from all my other planets, and in the Pitris sign of the D2, the ancestral influences sign, ancestral wounding that needed to be identified, understood, and healed. That was so supremely helpful. Another thing that came out of the blue, a wonderful young healer from Galway near here, Jonathan Finn, did a wonderful past life journey for me, where I saw the event where my natal Chiron conjunct Mars clicked into place in a past lifetime. And he also offers hypnotherapy healings, which manage and heal these past life journey realizations. He's actually joining my Love Star Dating Healers team shortly. Watch the space. And then I had a past life healing from Claire Louise Nifton, who lives around here, who's one of the healings on the Love Star Dating page. So she puts pieces on a board, one to represent my power, one to represent me, and then one after the other to represent the members of my birth family and adopted family. and then used her psychic power to move the pieces about in a relevant way to reveal what was happening, to interpret and heal. Such realizations and healings came from this work offered by Claire Louise Nifton. So, if you feel it's relevant for you, go to the Love Star Dating website and enroll for a healing online. And certainly one thing that really came out for me was a needed decision to draw a line under my toxic adoptive family. And that felt so strong and helpful. But at this same time, I also had guidance from Anastasia Melodou, a brilliant young astrologer colleague in Crete with an MA in transpersonal psychology. And she studied my astrology chart and then interpreted psychically that the ancestors of my birth parents and my adoptive parents were angry at their treatment of me. The ancestors were angry with them. And then she did wonderful online journeys to heal this and to connect me to my guardian angel and my strong earlier ancestors. And she too is joining the Love Star Dating healing sign, so watch the space. As a fifth coincidence at this time, literally at this time, a former shamanic healer student of mine from the West Indies contacted me unexpectedly from out of the blue. She gave me a wonderful inner child shamanic healing where the case of the me-aged 13 arose. And I was healed from his damages that he bore. And she said she'd shortly give me some in utero healing work because she perceived or saw that in utero damage had occurred. The situation of my homeless mother as I was in utero expected, and the effects of that on me. And then, quite unexpectedly, a friend of ours totally unexpectedly volunteered to give me a particular healing where I sort of lost consciousness after about 1 minute, but then arose at the end of the healing feeling so strong and purposeful and healed, and mustn't forget how I felt from that healing. There's even a couple more. Just this Monday of this week, totally unexpected, I ended up seeing a healer who lives near here, who I'd never contacted before, and he healed me of very long-standing bodily pains that suddenly peaked at the time of this Ketu return. The pains suddenly got so bad I had to fix the healing up at the last minute, late in the day before I actually had it. The healing effect was so spectacular and so needed. I was just giving way to, starting to limp in my life. And then, just as a final example, quite a spectacular one, some tourists on another of my sacred West of Ireland tours turned up to go on my Oanigat Cave tour, the cave of the Morrigan, the war goddess of the Iron Age Irish. Now, medieval manuscripts reveal that this cave was used as a warrior initiation cave in the Iron Age. Young Irish warriors would go in and spend overnight there. The manuscript reveals how some of them lost their minds from the experience, but others emerged as top warriors. When I took these people into the tour, we went down into the start of the cave main chamber. And at the start of the cave main chamber, I asked them 3 times, what are the fears that you carry now in your life that you must share with the Morrigan, the war goddess? And we each, one after the other, shared 3 important to voice and heal fears. We then crossed deeper across the floor of the cave, deeper into the chamber, and visualized ourselves standing before the Morrigan and making promises about strength and healing to her. She is not to be forgotten or crossed. read the story of Kahulin. How it's spelt is in the associated blog post, by the way. And the point of my mentioning this one, this completely unexpected coincidence, is that one of the tourists, an American lawyer from Oregon, said that as I had spoken, she had seen one particular past life of mine that was terrible, was not very nice to mention at all. But it totally tied in with the other features of my past life destiny that I came to heal in this lifetime. It totally tied in with the declaration of my, the second Varga chart I told you about, Chiron Mars, Lilith Venus. And then she very kindly gave me a 2-hour healing ritual to heal the effects of that past life later in that day. I'd never met her before. I was so lucky to receive the insight, so grateful for the so sound and strengthening 2-hour healing. So my point is, none of those healing and insight experiences I've shared with you were expected. I'd mostly never met the people before. They suddenly appeared in my life at the time of my Ketu return. I'm only sharing them with you because it might help some of you sort of open your minds to possible healing, open to coincidences that otherwise might be just ignored, walked past, missed. None of these healing and insight experiences of mine that I had were expected. So go to my Star Wheel Astrology website and get a reading. And if you're on a spiritual pathway and seeking love, go to my Love Star Dating website. I hope this has been helpful. I wasn't sure whether to go in for this level of personal sharing, but I felt that it would resonate with many people and help them in their lives. Thank you.